Hey guys, Coach Simon here from Triforce with another video that hopefully is going to give you a bit of an insight on how we coach our athletes here, but also hopefully give you some good valuable content that you can take away and put into your own training. Now, last weekend I had an athlete come down and see me and we did a focus block of swim, bike and run training. And when we went to the track, I got my athlete to do some repeats, and about 2/3 of the way round on the track itself, you could see that even though he was hitting the numbers, he was starting to feel fatigued. You could see it in his face. So I just turned around to my athlete and said, just stop there, that's enough. Let's take it easy, do a nice easy cool down, and we'll just stop the session there. Now, the athlete to start off with was like, what? Why are we doing that? And I said, well, look, you've done enough. And I think sometimes if you're not coached or you don't have someone that's just standing looking at you as a total, we keep pushing on through our training sessions, and potentially that session, which was supposed to be quality, turns out to be pretty poor. And I think that's what I'm trying to get across in this video today, is just that sometimes I think when you're training, it's okay to say enough is enough. So if you've got 10 sets of hard training in your training block and you only do 6, but you feel like you've done your best in those, and you just know that you're not quite on point physically or mentally, it's okay to back it off, because actually it's the quality of your training that really matters, and it's the quality over time that really matters. And this was the point I made to the athlete when we looked back over his training for the weekends that he was down. He'd done some really key training through the swim, bike and run. So actually, when we looked at the whole total of data that he had, it doesn't really matter whether he finished the full set on the run. It's just that the total of his training over the weekend had been pretty spot on, and he's going to go away and develop his fitness from that, and also develop his understanding of himself as an athlete. But I think it's also really good for him to see me turn around to him and go, look, just stop there. Because he knows that should he have that feeling in training when I'm not stood in front of him, he can go, do you know what, Simon, I thought about it and I'm just stopped my session at this point. I felt that was enough. I can crack on with some quality training when I'm feeling really energized to do that. And I think that's a really mature way of looking at it from training, and it's very hard for athletes who aren't coached to have that thought process. So I think this is what the video is about today. It's just that it's okay every now and again to stop your training session or scratch it and go, I've done enough today. If that happens a lot, then it's probably that you're either doing too much volume or too much intensity back to back. And it's something that you need to look at in your own training and address. But every now and again, and I like to say this a lot to our athletes, you're not robots. You've got to understand that just because it's on paper doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to put it straight out. Sometimes stress, dehydration, lack of food, other factors outside of training can really upset your training. So it's okay to go into a session, maybe do half of that session and hit it on point, but then just feel that everything's starting to slip off and then stop it. I'd much rather my athletes thought that way than try to forge through and break themselves physically and mentally. It's just a good way to look at your training. Remember, I think the most important thing is this, to get the take home is this. It is the quality of your consistency of training that really matters, and that's how you get progress. So it's okay if one of your sessions every now and again isn't quite to the level of intensity or the duration that you wanted, because actually it's the consistency of quality over time that matters the most. Anyhow, I hope that helps, and I hope your training's going really well, and let's hope that this weather stays really good this weekend. Cheers guys.